So in this video, we're going to be doing some subtracting of whole numbers and mixed numbers with decimals. So we still need to make sure we're writing things vertically, that we are lining up our decimals, that we are renaming our decimals by adding zeros when necessary, and then bringing the decimal down when we're all finished. So let's take a look at this first question. So this question reads, 667,087 and 6/10 plus 4,055 and 75 hundredths. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I'm going to write this really large number here. So 667,000, 87 and 6/10. Now I know where my decimal is, and I know where my decimal is on the other number, so I'm going to bring my decimal straight down, and then I'm going to simply fill it in. This is 4,055. I see the comma there, so I want my 4,000 with my 7,000, and my 55 over here with my 87. And then I have 75 hundredths. Now this is actually addition. Now, when you have addition, it's not necessary that you have to fill in the zero. I always recommend it just so you're always doing it. All right, now we can go ahead and add these up. So we're going to add our hundredths first. 0 hundredths plus 5 hundredths is 5. 6/10 plus 7/10 is 13. We're going to carry our 1 over. We have 5 ones plus 7 ones plus 1 more would be 13. Carry the 1 over. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my decimal now because I know it's going to come straight down. We have 5/10, 50, plus 8/10, which is 80, plus 1 more, which is going to be 14. Carry the 1. Now we have no hundreds at all except for the one that we carried over, so 1 plus 0 will be 1. And we have 4,000 plus 7,000 is going to be 11. So the 1 goes there, we carry over one of them. And 60,000 plus 10,000 is going to be 70, and then plus 6, okay? So that's going to be our final answer there, making sure we add our comma and our decimals where necessary. All right, now let's look at the next number. 4,822 minus 43 and 8 hundredths. So again, whole numbers always have decimals here. And we already have a decimal here, so we want to make sure we line those up. So we have 4,822 with a decimal, and we have 43 with a decimal, and 8 hundredths. So notice I did not line up the numbers based on just putting them anywhere. I made sure that my ones are together, and my tens are together, and my decimals are together. All right, so I am go ahead and fill this in with my 2 zeros, especially since we are subtracting. So I cannot subtract 8 from 0, so I have to borrow. But I can't borrow from a 0, so I have to go all the way to the ones place. So I'm going to borrow the 1. Instead of having 2 ones, I'm going to make it 1. And I'm going to bring one of them over here. Now I have 100, and I can borrow from this number here. So I've got 10, I'm going to make it 9, and it's going to become a 10. So 8 minus 10 is 2, 9 minus 0 is 9, bring down my decimal, 1 minus 3. I can't subtract 1 minus 3, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more borrowing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and borrow from the 2, and it's going to become a 1, and this is going to become an 11. Now I see that I have 4 minus 1, and I can't subtract 4 minus 1 either, so I can go ahead and borrow from my 8. It's going to become 700 instead of 800, and I'm going to bring my extra 100 over here. So now I can go ahead and subtract. We've got 11 minus 3 is 8, 11 minus 7, 11 minus 4 is 7, 7 minus nothing is 7, and 4 minus nothing is 4. Now you can put your zeros here, but it's not necessary on the bottom, but you certainly can do that. So now let's see if we need any commas and decimals. So we've got our decimal there, but we do need to bring down this comma to show that these are thousands and these are units. Okay, so our final answer is 4,778 and 92 hundredths. All right, last question. So for this problem, we have another whole number, 2004 minus 543 thousandths. We have 3 decimal places here, so we have a thousandths. Now this one has a decimal place also, it's just not written because it's a whole number. So let's go ahead and take a look of how we would set this problem up. So we are going to write 2000 with our comma, making sure that we show that that's our thousandths place. I am going to write my decimal right here, just so I know where to put my other set of numbers because it has a decimal. So I have 543 thousandths, so I'm going to put my decimal here. My 0 goes there, 543. All right, now we've been talking about how you cannot subtract from a nothing. So you can't subtract 3 from nothing, 4 from nothing, or 5 from nothing. So I am going to fill these spaces in with zeros, then I can actually subtract. So let's take a look at this. We have 3 minus 0. Have to borrow, can't borrow from a 0, so we're going to go all the way over to the ones place. Instead of 4 ones, we're going to change that to 3 ones. And we're going to bring this over here, so now we have 10 tenths. Okay, now we still can't subtract our 3, so we're going to have to borrow from our 10 tenths. It's going to become 9 tenths. We're going to bring this here, and now we have 10 hundredths. Now we can actually borrow from the 10 hundredths because it's no longer a 0. It's going to become 9 hundredths, and we're going to bring this here. So now we have 10 thousandths. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down our 0. And we have 3 minus 0 is 3. Now we have nothing in these places, and you don't have to fill them in with zeros, but you can. So 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, and then 2 minus 0. And definitely be sure to add that comma to show that that is the thousandths place. So kind of a mixed practice, making sure we rewrite them vertically, we line up our decimals, we rename them, and that's when we add those extra zeros, that's renaming them, and then we bring down the decimal place to finalize the final answer.